Sometimes I just want to sit down and start the podcast like, guess what, cunty? Or like, hey, little kitty. Or, and then I'm like, does that sound really fucked? Will everyone hate me if I do that? And then I'm like, I don't really give a shit because the whole purpose of this is to be myself. And if someone's repulsed by me, then that's okay. They can go because the more repulsive I am to some, the more attractive I am to others. So, my beautiful little cunty loves. Welcome to 10 Days to the Most Authentic Version of Yourself. This is a 10-day series that I'm doing to celebrate 100 episodes of Esther's Universe podcast. I have been using the podcast and my self-expression as a way to practice my journey to my most authentic self. I've used it as a way to develop along my spiritual path, to become more magnetic, to get paid to exist. The podcast has been the most spiritual thing I've ever chosen to do. I love it so much, and it's one of my favorite things. It's so creative. It connects me to people. I feel so vulnerable all the time. And I'm getting more and more and more confident the more that I speak, and it's one of the best things that I've ever done, and I'm so excited to be celebrating 100 episodes. And I also would like to encourage you, if you've ever wanted to have a podcast, definitely do it. Like, you don't need to be anyone in particular to begin a podcast. I was just some chick with a story, and I started to tell it, and you can do it too. And now over 100 countries listen to my podcast. Can you believe that? Over 100 countries. I actually can't believe that I've done this. I can't believe it's gotten this far. I can't believe how many emails I get from people all around the world and messages from people online connecting with me who've listened to the pod. I'm always eternally grateful. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. If you're new, welcome to the Esther's Universe community. It's a really beautiful space. And in this club, we like to do bold moves, you know, like changing your whole fucking life to manifest a new one, going down a spiritual path, like allowing yourself to transform and shift your beliefs and all those things, like manifesting, spirituality, personal development, science, the quantum realm. This is what we do here. So if you're new, please stick around, follow the pod. I'd love to connect with you more. This episode is about mirroring. So you are a mirror for people and other people are a mirror for you. This is a really important part of the journey to your most authentic self and to live in your authentic expression, this kind of thing. Because to be an effective mirror, you essentially need to allow yourself to be seen. And to allow yourself to be seen, you need to practice staying in your authenticity as much as you can, because by practicing that alone, by speaking your truth, being there for yourself, being honest with yourself, taking actions that align with how you're feeling and what it is that you need to be the highest version of yourself, that kind of thing. When you're doing that, you're practicing expanding your comfort zone. You're practicing allowing yourself to be seen. You're practicing feeling safe and regulating your nervous system in all these little micro moments when you align with your most authentic self, right? And when you do that, you're able to be seen more by more people. You're brighter. You're allowing people to see the depths of you. You're opening yourself up in a very vulnerable way, you know, tiny steps at a time, incrementally. You just do it every day. You practice it more and more and more and more. It just becomes habit eventually. It becomes a way of being, and then just like boots, you're there bearing your entire heart and soul online, and you have strangers all over the world connecting with you, being brought to tears, feeling healed. Your voice is medicine. Your frequency, your energy is bringing other people into a state of authenticity when they listen to you. So when you're listening to me, my vibration that's coming through my voice across time and space and into your ears is affecting your energy, okay? So my energy at a high vibrational state, at a magnetic state, a very grateful state, an abundant state, a very authentic state, is going into your frequency, and it's inviting your frequency to meet me here, right? And depends how close you are to my frequency. When you're listening to my episodes, you might be able to jump straight in my energy and be like, oh my God, cool. Now I feel more energized, or I feel more clear, I feel more connected. Or you might aspire to it. You might be like, I can't feel how she feels, but I feel so connected to her. I have a taste for that energy, and I'm going to work my way to that energy. So my energy is inviting your energy to raise your frequency, right? Or if your frequency is at a very similar place to my frequency, a very similar frequency, different, similar sort of resonance, that kind of thing, then you're going to either just fully understand from an embodied place what I'm talking about. You'll understand my energy, where I'm at, that kind of thing. Or you'll maybe, if you're having a bad day, you'll easily be able to listen to my voice and then shift into a better energy state and come back into a place of clarity and like self-love, that kind of thing, where you're not beating yourself up, that kind of thing. So you're mirroring, like I'm acting as a mirror in that way, essentially. The other way that I act as a mirror, and what you can also do for people, is when you're being vulnerable and you're being your most authentic self out loud, you're learning out loud, you're expressing yourself out loud, that kind of thing. When you're doing that, you essentially radiate as more powerful. Like you might associate being vulnerable with feeble and weak and sensitive and stuff like that, but it's actually not at all. When you're vulnerable, you're more powerful. Okay? And vulnerability also doesn't just mean sad. Like, I'm vulnerable all the time and can giggle about it now. But at first, being vulnerable made me want to choke up, vomit, and cry. So think about that way too. Like if you're still early and you're practicing of being vulnerable and you're still at a point where you want to fucking vomit and choke up and cry, it's not always like that. So when you picture vulnerability in your head, picture it as moving towards a version of it where you're like completely self-accepting and loving, that you can talk about really vulnerable things. And sure, you might still sometimes cry. You'll still have emotional attachment, but you won't identify. You won't be attached to the things in the way where you still identify with the problem or anything like that. You'll have the view that you're like, oh, there's wisdom in this for people. There's connection in this if I share it, that kind of thing. And you're happy to share it. And so you can giggle through it, you can cry through it, but you're good. Like you're happy to share it and speak it, that kind of thing. So basically when you're sharing who you are and you're allowing your energy to be seen, you are more powerful. When you're doing things in life and you're inviting people along for the journey and being like, hey, I'm doing this now, come along, here's how I did it. I'm doing this now, come along, here's how I did it. I'm learning this. This is what I'm going through. Here's how I'm working through it. When you're doing that, you're being a massive example of empowerment for people. And so you're acting as a mirror in a way of being like, here is what you can be as well. Because if you see yourself in me, if you resonate with me, if you think like, oh yeah, there's a part of me that really feels like I've got something in common with Esther, that means that what you see in me, you also possess, because you can see it. The very nature of you being able to see it in me and witness it means that you are that as well, okay? You can expand your energy. You can be vulnerable. You can be confident. You can be fun and funny and whatever. You can be honest. You can be authentic. You can do it too. So that's all, that's a way that I'm being a mirror for you, and then what you will be for other people and what you are for other people already. And then there's also the kind of way where it's like, maybe something that I say in an episode will trigger someone, or maybe in a conversation with someone, maybe I'm saying something and someone gets triggered by something that I say. I am then a mirror for that person to self-reflect. So they go, okay, Esther just said this thing and it made me kind of contract. Maybe she spoke about money and I contracted because I'm not feeling very abundant. I'm in a very, very scared place right now. And so I kind of shut down. What was it that she said? Why did I contract? What part of myself do I need to look at so I can, kind of love that part of myself, shine light on it and integrate it into who I am so that it's no longer a block in front of me? How can I become more whole, more authentic? So those are other ways. So you will be doing that for people as well. So there's this, and when you're open to progressing, to being your most authentic self, to being in alignment with mind, body, soul, that kind of thing, you're looking in the mirror of everyone else all the time. So when I'm listening to someone and they say something and I have a strange reaction, or even an excited reaction, I'm like, ooh, I'm curious about that. I should follow that crumb and see where that trail leads me. Oh, I'm excited by that. That makes me feel really good. Maybe this is the era that I need to go into right now. Or why did I contract? Why did I feel like I need to block myself from hearing that? What do I need to look at in myself there? Or is it just not aligned with me? That kind of thing. And same with conversations with friends. I am constantly looking into my own reactions and how I feel when someone's speaking to me. I'm using the situation as a mirror. I'm still also present in the conversation at the same time and having a great time, but I'll notice, there's always this intention to notice a little flag that comes up in my body. That is me zooming along my self-development path because I'm looking for that stuff. I'm welcoming it in, right? So by doing that, the mirroring process, I'm becoming more aligned with my authentic self because I'm making the choice to look for that alignment, right? So mirroring, it's incredible. And it helps with your authenticity journey, but it also helps to know that that is what you are when you're being authentic and when you're expressing yourself and allowing yourself to be seen and getting out there in the world. It's very, very cool. You are a mirror, a very powerful, amazing mirror for the world around you, okay? So there's another, I wasn't going to talk about this, but there is something else that you can do, and I like to do this. Speaking of mirrors, wake up every morning and look in the mirror, look at yourself in the eye and say, I love you. Every morning. So fucking easy. But when you do that, when you're going, okay, I'm choosing right now to aim at loving myself through and through, you're choosing self-care. You're choosing self-love. You're choosing yourself literally by making that one tiny little choice to go stand in front of a mirror and be like, I love you. You are choosing yourself. If you start your day choosing yourself every day, you'll start to say more things too. You might be like, you're so beautiful. I love you so much. I hope you have the best day, or whatever. Like, say really beautiful things to yourself. Or you can say, you know, your name and where you live, and then the thing you're trying to manifest, and then, you know, your best friend's name or something like that. Like sandwich, my friend Zoe told me about this. She was like, sandwich your goal in between truths that already exist in your present life. And this helps your nervous system regulate with the idea of the affirmation. So you could be like, for me, it's, my name's Esther, I live on the Gold Coast, I earn $100,000 per month, and my son's name is Noah. And I'll look in the mirror and I'll say that like a bunch of times. I'll also say it on walks inside my head, just again and again and again and again, training my nervous system to accept that reality and be okay with it. My subconscious is hearing it when I say it out loud in the mirror. And so it's, you know, drilling into my subconscious, that kind of thing. And it's just another little step that you can take on this journey, basically, of being the best version of yourself and being in alignment with your heart and soul and your desires and your mind and your body and everything like that. So if you want to do the same thing that I'm doing and you're like, fuck, this is so inspiring, S is inspiring, I want to do that, I feel like I could do the same thing as her, yes, you absolutely can, yes, you absolutely should, I'll be your biggest cheerleader. I've made a course for you. Oh, I'm so excited. It's like this entire journey that I've been on, I've bottled it up and I've put it in a beautiful, easy to digest package for you. So it's a self-paced course. You can take as long as you like, but you only need 10 days. I'm going to take you through the mindset shift so that you can understand your podcast and start a podcast. I don't even know if I mentioned that. It's a podcasting course, but it's about joining the podcast in with your spiritual journey and your authenticity. So pretty much everything that we're talking about in this 10-day series has, you know, one thing or another to do with this. And the first 1,000 people to buy the course get the early bird discount. So you get about 50% off. So after that, it'll be back up to full price. There are thousands of people that listen to this podcast, so make sure you join the wait list, because then you'll be the first to be notified and have a higher chance of getting it at half price. The wait list is in the show notes. Check it out below. Please rate the show. Please follow me on Instagram and share your love. Let me know if this helps. I would love to hear anything back from you about what you're learning from this, and enjoy the rest of your day. See you tomorrow.